It might surprise many of you to know that despite my vast wisdom and intelligence, my wife is actually a lot smarter than I am, and she lets me know it. She lets me know it every time we're at dinner. She can see me processing. It's a lot of serious business. A lot of advanced math goes into signing the check and figuring out how much you're going to tip. And she could see my head, the numbers just coming together, all this geometry, trigonometry kind of coming together as I try to add 20% to a $32 bill. And I can't do it off the top of my head. But she'll sit there and I can see it on her face. She has this smug look. She'll be like, actually, the total is $32.99. And I'm like, okay, I know it. Thank you. You jerk. I can't go Dutch. We share the same bank account. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Mike Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about interesting books I've read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, you like the books that I talk about, or maybe you have a passive-aggressive wife that likes to look over your shoulder when you're trying to tip as well, you've come to the right place, my friend. You can follow us on Twitter, Parler, Getter, and TikTok, or you can subscribe right down below at YouTube and Rumble. But more importantly, be a part of the conversation. Let us know what you think about the show, and let us know what you like, dislike. Let us know if there's any book recommendations. A couple comments come up recently about my book, The Power of the Dog by Don Winslow. Saved for More says, pumped I found your channel. I dig it, my man. Thanks for the review. I just picked this book up, so that's nice. And then on my book, A Conflict of Visions by Thomas Sowell, Daniel Grick, just finished my first Thomas Sowell book. He's definitely worth reading. And then on my book, or my review of Irreversible Damage by Abigail Schreier, Rue, that's nice. Rue says, you've never met a transgender person in your entire life, and I can 100% tell. Just let people be themselves. God! My ears are burning. All right, today we're going to take a look at a really, really solid book, but it's a book that was an absolute nightmare for a dummy like me. Just ignore my comment about being very wise earlier in the show. Nonetheless, despite my wisdom, this book was incredibly hard for me because I have no experience in scientific books whatsoever, and so this book took me 2 months. I'm going to say that again. This book took me 2 months. 2 months to read. So, very, very difficult nonetheless. Today, we're going to take a look at Return of the God Hypothesis by Stephen C. Meyer. Meyer is a renowned philosopher of science, a graduate of Cambridge University, former college professor and geophysicist. He's written, actually, this isn't his first, best-selling book. He's written a handful of them, including Darwin's Doubt, Signature in the Cell, and he's also been widely published in other columns. So I actually got some feedback on one of my earlier columns that maybe the aesthetics is a little bit superfluous for the videos. So as far as general aesthetics, I'm just going to do a quick rundown. I like the design. I like that it's simple. And so I would give it a solid 9 out of 10. So boom, done. Now looking at the readability, it was excruciating. He's very talented. Meyer's really talented as a former professor, so he's good at using analogy and imagery to get points across. So being able to draw connections that kind of allow you to visualize a really, really advanced topic definitely adds some kind of weight to this that allows you to wrap your head around it. But nonetheless, from my opinion, I think you need some basic understanding and aptitude of physics, biology, basic logic, all of which I have almost no understanding. Sorry. But anyway, you need some kind of understanding there. Otherwise, this book is gonna fly over your head. Not completely. I was able to get a lot out of the book, but I think for you to really optimize how much you get out of it, I would read a little backup stuff. Once again, going back to the smarter wife, she actually advised me to read a little bit before getting into this book, and I didn't listen, like any dumb husband. As far as the readability goes, kind of a tepid 5 out of 10. All right, let's take a look at the contents. Meyer really takes aim at the scientific materialist community, and let's be honest, popular culture as well. I think popular culture, for the most part, has embraced this materialistic view that God is dead. He takes aim in their claims that the belief in a divine creator is anti-scientific and that all the advances in knowledge of the world and the rest of the cosmos render theistic belief pointless, or as Richard Dawkins in one case said a delusion and borderline dangerous. He makes a three-pillared attack based on his analysis of multiple facets of scientific study. The first pillar is based on cosmic observations, so we're really getting into the nature of space, the advances in technology and logical projections about space, not just from our observation, but beyond what we're able to directly observe, kind of what we have to mathematically project and theoretically project. He takes you through, what I consider to be a mini semester of college education in the cosmos and space in relation to time, relativity, gravity, and the likelihood, or in this book's case, unlikelihood of a universe like ours actually even existing. The second pillar comes from his studies and research of physics, including such advanced topics that are way over my head, like string theory and quantum mechanics as it's applied to the cosmos. Just really, really, really deep stuff. And this is really where his inner Tony Stark comes out, where he's talking about like the quantum realm and all this crazy stuff. And if you weren't lost by then and you're as dumb as I am, trust me, you're gonna be lost. But nonetheless, I consider it still interesting to try to like wrap your mind around it. It's crazy how much you don't realize how much you don't know until you read a book like this, and it's kind of eye-opening and humbling. But the third pillar comes from the logical gaps in the materialist opinions about biology and evolution. He focuses intently on the astronomically minuscule possibility of DNA's very existence. The fact that there are entire trillions and trillions and trillions of lines of de facto code that are written into all the DNA structure, the tertiary folds that make up our every single biological inclination that we have, and as well as every other animal and living organism on the planet. The fact that there is no other observed phenomenon, none, that we have ever seen in the history of humanity that has caused information and code, that has caused that to happen, information and code, other than intelligent bodies. Every time you see anything like code or alphabet or anything like that, symbols that are meant to mean something else, that are meant to create and build and send information. The only time we have ever observed that in history is through intelligence, through humans sending intelligence. So he kind of makes that logical projection that the very lines that make up our code suggest that there is a higher intelligence above us. Nonetheless, it is a fantastic book. But nonetheless, it is kind of like powerlifting with your brain. I mean, it is mentally exhausting, but nonetheless, as far as the content goes, I'm going to give it a perfect score, 10 out of 10. I got this book as a gift. I saw it on the shelf. I heard it talked about on a podcast. I thought it sounded really interesting, and so I asked for it for Christmas, because that's all I ever ask for Christmas is books. But I got it. Really happy that I got around to reading it. I am mentally worn out. I think it's time for me to read the funny pages for the next 2 months. So I'll rejoin you in a few months. Not really. I'll come back with another episode soon. But nonetheless, go out and get yourself a copy. You can find this at Barnes & Noble or Amazon. You can probably even go to his website and order it directly. The book is Return of the God Hypothesis by Stephen C. Meyer. Go out and get yourself a copy. Thanks for watching, everybody, and go read something.